Dr. Yitzhak Kronzon, a senior cardiologist at NYU Hospital, moved to New York City from Israel in pursuit of success. So, what is the difference between making it in Israel and making it in New York?
Nothing, no real difference. No real difference. I mean, if you're good, you make it.
And so what made you choose here?
I moved to New York over 35 years ago. At that time, the situation was a little bit different. Israel was relatively poor. The level of equipment, the level of education, the gap between American medicine and Israeli medicine at that time was much wider than it is today. At that time, I just went for a year or two just to learn something. And it so happened that I'm here.
So what does it take to be ahead of the game, to lead the pack? So
Well, first of all, you have to have the interest. And you have to really make it into a major part of your effort and your career. This is a long-term commitment, probably a lifelong commitment. You give up many things. I have 3 children that are now probably your age, and they are complaining that they've never seen me at home.
But you did find time to write a couple of books on your childhood days in Haifa.
The books have been written really driving to work and back. I think about my childhood in Haifa just before I fall asleep and while I'm driving. And then once or twice a year I sit and I write a short story. It so happened that I'm here. I mean, my roots in Haifa are there.
What's it like to be away from the place of your roots?
This is a question that is very frequently asked, and it's difficult to answer. But you are away from your roots. How healthy, how good it is to be away from your roots. So I created some kind of abnormal situation. I really live here, and most of my professional activities are here. But in fact, I continue to live in Haifa. I have a house in Israel. I have an apartment in Israel. I used to go to Israel every 2 weeks. For many years. I was a professor at Tel Aviv University, and I speak Hebrew, I think in Hebrew, I dream in Hebrew. I have never learned English like a native. Many of my friends are Israelis, and probably the reason why we stick together. Now, this is an anomaly. This shouldn't happen. Immigration should be much smoother. But as far as I'm concerned, these are the facts.
What's the difference between the experience of being Jewish in Israel and the experience of being Jewish in New York?
I was recently invited to Lithuania. A group of Lithuanians approached me, Lithuanian doctors, and they say, we would like to invite you to Lithuania. I said, I want to tell you a story about Lithuania. You won't believe it, but I'm also Lithuanian. My parents were born in Lithuania. My father actually was a Lithuanian patriot, and he joined the Lithuanian military. And he was a flight engineer in the Lithuanian Air Force. And then, when he was discharged, he applied for a position in the university from which he graduated with honors. And the committee which evaluated his records looked at everything and said, look, you are the best candidate we ever had here. But we already have a Jew. So my father was insulted. And he left his family, a very convenient life in a small town in the border of Lithuania. And he moved with my mother to Palestine. And this was unlike the rest of the family who stayed in Lithuania. And that's the story of Lithuanian Jewry. I mean, they disappeared. So I told them that story, and they say, look, I mean, this is not us. I mean, this happened many years ago. Do us a favor, come, see that we are different, that we are a nice country. So I went to Lithuania. Not only I went to Lithuania, but I got an honorary degree from the same university that rejected my family.
Oh.
So if you ask me what is the meaning of somebody who really doesn't live in Israel to be a Jew, the meaning of this that you went through a kind of experience that is horrible because you are a Jew. You share it with many other Jews. You have worries for the future because you are Jewish. And yes, it bothers me because I belong to that group and I don't know what experiences are waiting for them, for us, ahead.
Do you see a difference in the sensibilities of Jews who grew up in Israel and Jews who grew up here, for example?
I think that the Jews that are growing up in New York are disappearing, are losing their Jewish identity. Yes, some of them are still celebrating the Jewish New Year, maybe the Passover. They are not really religious, and they assimilate. And it's very easy to assimilate here. I would say that 50% are married to non-Jews. There is no need, really, to maintain your Jewish identity anymore. This is NYU, that used to be called NYJew at one point, because there is still a big Jewish community here. 1/3 of the doctors are Jews. I would say that most of them have really lost. Let me put it this way: they don't put Judaism very high on their daily agenda.
Do you?
Well, I have a different experience. To me, Judaism is also part of being Israeli, is also part of being belonging to a group that obviously maintain the Jewish identity very strongly. But does the details of Judaism are highly important for me? I would not think so. I know, for example, that 2 out of my 3 children are married to non-Jews, and there's a wonderful boy and a wonderful girl, and I have no problem with that at all, but really not. We still celebrate some traditional holidays. I mean,
With the non-Jewish spouses?
with the non-Jewish spouses, they found it exotic, they found it interesting, and we do it with Jews and with not Jews. I mean, this is not a major issue to us. To me, much more important issue are human qualities rather than religious belonging.